Hello there, it's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee. Okay, right, I live just outside of a stately home, a National Trust property, Hewingdon Manor, and my sister actually volunteers there, and she's a guide on Thursday, and you know, when they're busy at weekends. Anyway, she is working there this weekend, and they are doing a Victorian weekend. Now, I was hoping that she would volunteer in the house so I could make a really nice costume for her. But she's not. She's going to volunteer in the cafe, or she's working in the cafe. So, I know. The only thing I can think to make is going to be a Mrs. Mop hat. And I don't think she'll wear it because she's working as a chef there. So, I know, but I'm still going to make the hat anyway. Now, this here is sheeting material. It's actually sort of cream, sort of pale ivory, but I'm going to go with it. And what I've done is I folded it probably into 16ths, so I'm left with a point. What I have in my hand is a chalk pencil and attached to a bit of string so that I can get my circle. Now, I'm making my circle as big as the cloth will allow. Now, this is probably, actually not probably, it is going to be a circle of 38 inches. I know, how huge is that? It's probably way too big. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this circle and then work down with it. Because I think to get round her head in an elastic way, I'm going to have to sew about here, so quite far down. Now, to do this, I'm going to use shearing, and I am going to do double needle zigzags on the edge of the circle. Now, the reason I'm doing that is to give it a sort of binding decorative finish, and I am attempting to cut petals. Okay, now I have got no idea how this is going to work, what it's going to come out like. Obviously there's a lot to be said for ironing the cloth before we start, but I've done it anyway, and I'm going to get rid of my scraps. So the next job for me to do is I need to decide where I'm going to put the elastic, and I really want it quite straight. So what I'm going to do is do it by eye so that I know that it's going to be big enough to get round with, you know, excess. And I think you would be surprised how much fabric we're going to use for this, really. So what I've done is I've knotted the end of my string here, and I've got my pencil still, and I'm going to draw an arc. Quite faint, I can see it, but it's not going to mark the fabric. Then, because I've got my knot, I can put it down and I can refold, and I can do another line, and then I can pretty much go all the way around just by guesstimating. But this is all we're doing, we're guessing. Now, as long as I'll have a fairly good clue as well of when I'm going straight and when I'm sort of jumping off. And it is. By the looks of it, it's going to be quite a zigzag line, but all this is good. So, let's see. Hopefully I've got enough done. I've got one side completely done and the other side not done at all. So, oh, for a big table. I wouldn't be happy. Okay, so we have this. Now, the problem with this video is that we're going to be doing a lot of filming of the back of my head, and I can only apologise for this. I am not the best needle threader in the world. First of all, I'm going to do probably 3 lines of shearing. I think this is the cheapest way to do it. I also have a piece of elastic here and a spare bit of cloth so that I can show you how I would do it with elastic. The reason I'm doing shearing as well, I think if you're going to wear something hot and elastic around your head, you really need it to be as gentle as possible. Yeah, we don't want her blacking out or coming home with a headache, do we? So I'm just going round now. And I always hand wind the bobbins. You can do it on the machine, but it's so simple just to hand wind them. And this way you can keep an eye on the tension, because you don't really want any tension in here. Alright, so I've gone around a few times and I'm sure that's enough. And I've buried my scissors again. Woohoo! Now all I've got is the needle set up to do a running stitch. There's nothing fancy about that. I have placed the bobbin in the bobbin holder, and I will place that in there. And I'm just going to pick it up like you would do a normal thread. Okay, so easy enough really, and my needle's already threaded, so that's a plus. And I'm just grabbing the foot off the other machine. Oh no! Oh, talk about slick, aren't I? Okay, I'm going to find a foot and I'm going to change the bobbin colour, the thread colour. Okay, so I found my foot and I've changed my thread to pale pink from salmon pink. And I have my scrap bit of paper here and I'm literally just testing. So that's happy, you know, there's no two ways. On a simple running stitch, all that's different is the bobbin thread is in there. And I'm just going to pull that out and then sew proper using my pink line that I drew as a guide. And I want to go round at least 3 times. This is because I think that will just give me a nice smooth elastic. Okay, so I'm following this pink line as accurately as possible, and my next time round what I'll do is I'll place the previous level of stitches next to my foot, so they're quite close together. Now I was going to say something really interesting there and it's completely gone. Yeah, so maybe I shouldn't have, you can see that it's working quite fine. Best not to stop the machine and restart it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew straight on to the next stitch. So as you can see, it's only picking up a little bit. What I'll do on the next journey round is I will not stretch fabric, because I can pull the fabric out and then I can keep my shearing this level, or I can run it through the machine with it already slightly crumpled, and then the next lot of crumpling will be even more. So this is why I said 3 or 4 times round, and it really is, it's just, I'm playing it by eye here. Okay, so I'm hardly touching this fabric, I'm just letting the machine take it. Okay, so I'll switch the camera off and I'll keep going round till I feel it's gone to the size I want it, and you can literally see the difference there, can't you? Okay. Hey, well, it's a bit hard to know where the starting point is, really. Anyway, so what I'm doing now is I'm just going in between my lines. And this takes up loads of fabric, so this is all good, because there's a lot here. And we're getting there, aren't we? We can definitely see that it's shrinking. And I'm still just guiding it, because what I don't want is it to do one of those where it sort of picks up a whole V, because that looks really untidy. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, it's still really big. Oh well. There's a lot to be said for that. Check I'm actually still sewing. Yeah, of course I am. Okay, well, I'm going to carry on filming, but I'm going to cheat about something. So, I know, and I'll do this video again, but I'll make it smaller. So, there we are so far. I'm coming into shot. Woohoo! Yes, a big, big mop hat. Now, yeah, okay. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to pause the camera in a bit. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the elastic out now, and I'm putting in a traditional bobbin. This is just a normal bobbin. And I'm going down. So if I was to do it with a normal piece of elastic, what I'd do is I'd place the cloth and the elastic under there, and I would just sew, and then I would pull this tight, and then that'll take it up. So, easy thing to do, and it really depends. I just think that if I do elastic, then it might be too tight for her, which is, she's not going to get it now, I don't think. She's going to get a different one. Okay, so to use twin needles, if I just take that needle out, now we've just seen my bobbin thread is a normal bobbin thread. Oh, how much are we in shot? Yeah, normal bobbin thread. I'm not going to touch that. I have my twin needle here, which is just lovely, and it's going to be inserted in. Now with my original thread, I'm going to thread one needle, and I'm going to give it a sharp point. This is a real test for me. Ooh. Okay, so that one needle is in, bobbin thread still untouched, ignoring. Now, this is the same cotton, I just put it on a bobbin because I wanted it to be the same colour. And I'm just ignoring that previous thread, and it is best to thread them separately so that they don't get knotted up or you don't twist them, and then I'm just threading it into the other needle. So it's all good. And then I'm pulling it through. So with my scrap of fabric, which is getting very, very scrappy now, I'm going to test my stitches. Now what I mean by this is I'm going to test sort of my tension and everything. So, you know, double check that I'm happy. Now I've got that on a running stitch. I have got the double stitch as well, which is the same, but you'll find that's just a bit smaller and it sort of jumps about a bit. And then I've got my double zigzag, which is the stitch I love. Okay, so I'm not going to adjust the tension. What I'm going to do is very slowly, very tediously, if I find a little bit like that's sticking out, and then I'm going to sew on the edge, and then that sort of seals it. It's very much like a rolled hem on an overlocker. And what I'll do is I'm going to go all the way around, and then I'm going to go and do another line, and I might use a different colour, maybe one pale blue and one pale pink. So you can see it's very much like a rolled hem, and it's very good. It's very great. I love it. Love it to death. So just keep an eye that these don't jump out of the tensioner, because I don't want it to get too temperamental. Okay, so that's me. Just a little matter of doing it all, and it's going to take me a while. It's quite a big hat, and I'll be back when I'm closer to the end. Hey, I want to introduce you to the most embarrassing thing in my house. Okay, Big Bear, as he's called, was made for my son's 3rd Christmas. My son was ill in bed, and yes, so I was bored and I made Big Bear. Now my son's 21 now, and the reason we've still got Big Bear is because he's really quite comfy to sit and watch the telly. Sorry about the vertigo, guys. Okay, now life is quite cruel, isn't it? I have got 7 inches to go, and look, I know. Now I have a choice. I can unwind everything and change the thread, or I can keep sewing, and when I've sewn through I'll just sew. You see, that's gone now, but I can carry on sewing with just one, and then hopefully Teddy Bear won't mind. Yeah, I don't think he's got a name. I think he is just called Big Bear, and I have tried to throw him away on many occasions. I've just failed. So here we go. I'm still sewing with just one thread for that last couple of inches. Yeah, and I'll probably sew back over it as well. Yeah, don't tell Ted. So yes, we're done. We have our oversized mop hat, and let's give it to Teddy. It won't fit on me. It's actually perfect for him, although he probably doesn't know that. And put his ear in. So yes, I know, I can only apologise. What am I to do, eh? I'm very human, I make mistakes, and I make bad judgment calls. But my sister says she won't wear it anyway, so even if it was nearer her size. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon.